Hey everyone, welcome to Secrets Behind the Stars. Settle in, because tonight's story has taken the internet by storm and left even the most skeptical fans buzzing. Two of Turkey's most beloved stars, Barış Arduç and Elçin Sangu, are once again at the center of attention, but this time, it isn't about a casting rumor or a red carpet appearance. It's about a gesture so bold and so personal that it sent shockwaves through social media when images surfaced late last night. The whispers about their closeness had been swirling for months, carefully fed by quiet sightings, subtle interviews, and those glances that fans of their on-screen chemistry know all too well. But nothing could have prepared anyone for the late-night leak from a small tattoo studio in Cihangir. According to the circulating footage, Barış left that studio last week and brushed off the curious questions with a simple explanation: "I'm preparing for my new project." Everyone assumed he meant a role, a bit of method preparation, maybe even a character detail. But when images emerged showing his wrist with a fresh tattoo, thin, elegant, unmistakably personal, people stopped scrolling and leaned closer to their screens. The name inked there, in graceful, minimalist calligraphy, Elcin. For a moment, Istanbul felt a little smaller, the city's neighborhoods buzzing with the same rumor as though everyone had just spotted the same star blazing across the night. The fine black lettering sat along the curve of his wrist with deliberate care, its simplicity almost daring. Within minutes, social media went wild. The feeds filled with comments that swung between breathless romance and wary caution. "This is undeniable," one fan wrote. "This isn't a prop, it's a promise," said another. Others insisted, "Co-stars are one thing, but this is something else," and that tone carried through the night. Hope, thrill, and the fragile question of what comes next for two people whose connection has lived in both fiction and reality for years. Close friends of the pair quietly shared that Barış didn't rush the decision. He'd been considering it for weeks, even obsessing over fonts and placement. Those who know his style, elegant, measured, rarely performative, recognized the signature in the gesture. It wasn't flashy. It wasn't for headlines. It was precise, intimate, and meant to mean something when the cameras weren't around. As for how Elcin felt about it, that's where the mystery started to sharpen. Yesterday morning in Italy, reporters caught up to Barış during a coffee run. "Did you see it?" someone asked. He didn't answer. He simply smiled, a small, quiet smile that said everything and nothing at once. The clip traveled faster than any official statement could, and within minutes it had been crowned by fans as the moment of silent approval. The gossip pages had already been whispering that the two had been spending more time together off-set, often slipping into cozy cafes, gallery openings, and private gatherings with mutual friends. The kind of evenings where candles burn low and conversations stretch past midnight, where laughter softens into secrets, and where two people who've built a legacy of chemistry might finally be writing a chapter that belongs only to them. The tattoo changed the conversation from speculation to stakes. The image of that delicate script on his wrist felt like a keyhole suddenly swung open, offering a glimpse of something true. By early morning, Barış's wrist had become the trending topic, and not just among their most devoted followers. Style commentators weighed in on the choice of lettering, noting the restraint and sophistication. Body art enthusiasts pointed out how the design hugs the tendons and lines of the wrist, a placement that suggests both vulnerability and intent. And then came the avalanche of heartfelt posts. Edits of their most iconic scenes, side-by-side photos of past interviews, quiet looks caught by cameras, hands almost touching, a smile that's only for the other person. Friends of the couple, those who've watched them grow from workplace partners into something warmer, say the tattoo wasn't a whim. It felt like a conversation made permanent, a private vow etched where the pulse beats. Elcin, true to form, kept it poised. There was no official statement, no direct reply when the images began circulating. But her posts this week, a warm-toned portrait in natural light, a candid laugh captured at an art event, a close-up of a bracelet turning on her wrist, were immediately swept into the tide of interpretation. Followers filled the comments with gentle, breathless questions. Was the bracelet a nod to the tattoo? Was the glow in her smile a response to the gesture? Was that caption just a single word about courage? Pointed? People who have followed her career know her as both flame and elegance, a woman whose presence lights up a frame but whose heart often stays off camera. And yet, sources say that when she finally saw the ink with her name, surprise quickly melted into something softer, a quiet smile matched with a look that lingers a heartbeat too long. From that moment, every outing seemed to hum with extra meaning. Paparazzi lenses caught them slipping out of a small cultural event, crossing the street in tandem, his wrist briefly visible as he lifted a hand to wave off the flash. Another night, they were seen inside a low-lit restaurant in Sahangir, leaning close in a corner booth, the kind of place where the clink of glasses forms a soundtrack for confidences. Social media had a field day with the details. The sleeve pushed up just enough for the tattoo to peek out, the way her hand brushed his forearm when she laughed, the simple shared familiarity that can't be faked. Fans wrote that this wasn't a stunt but a story finally told in their own handwriting. Meanwhile, relationship experts chimed in with their trademark caution and curiosity. Tattoos, especially names, are risky, they mark time in ink, and yet they can also signal a decision to stop hiding from what matters. Was this a step toward a deeper promise? Was marriage in the question pile now sitting between them? Some fans backed the gesture with open arms. It's bold, it's romantic, it's theirs. Others worried it was too much, too soon. Yet even among the cautious, the shared refrain was clear: the tenderness looks real. The mutual trust feels earned, not staged. The world can argue, but only two people know the pace their hearts can keep. After the reveal, the pair's orbit shifted. Everywhere they went, they carried a hum of electric curiosity. The most clicked photos of the day showed Barış leaving the studio on the night the images leaked, the faintest upward curve on his face that suggested nervous excitement rather than triumph. A few hours later, another clip appeared. Someone caught the instant Elcin caught sight of the tattoo up close. There was a pause, a laugh, a hand reaching without thinking. It wasn't grand. It didn't need to be. In those seconds, fans said, you could see the answer that words might only complicate. Magazines began to run soft focus spreads about the nature of commitment in a world where everything is visible. Commentators argued that the gesture marks a transition, from whatever unspoken understanding existed to a more open admission. Not a press release. Not a staged kiss. Something far more vulnerable, a decision that lives beneath a shirt cuff, at a pulse point, tucked where it's hardest to forget. It's an intimate banner raised not to the skyline but to the person it was meant for. And in that quiet, the narrative felt new, different from the usual dance of rumor. People close to them say the decision was wrapped in intention. He debated the font, the weight of the line, the height of the letters, and the subtle angle that would let the name align with the veins, details only someone intentionally present would notice. He wanted something that would look like it had always belonged there. He wanted, one friend said, to carry a reminder of the person who reminds him who he is when the noise gets loud. It's not about staking a claim, one confidant shared. It's about gratitude and courage. Those words settled into the fan community like a hush. As the days unfolded, their social life became a map of glances and echoes. They were seen at a pop-up gallery in Karakoy, pausing in front of a piece about time and memory. They slipped into a familiar cafe where the barista knows their orders by name, and the staff carefully pretended not to notice the cameras outside. They showed up at a friend's birthday, laughing in a small circle, then leaving early under a clear sky. At each turn, the wrist reappeared, not as an exhibition but like the rhythm of a heartbeat, present, steady, unashamed. Fans even began matching the calligraphy with other details, noting that the lettering mirrors the calm elegance of his style, and the warmth of the name mirrors the vivid light that Elcin brings into any room. And then there was the opinion everyone wanted: what did she think? Those around the couple insist that surprise gave way to tenderness. It's said that she teased him gently at first, then folded the moment into a more serious conversation later, one about what it means to be seen and chosen in a world that watches too closely. Her friends say she values sincerity over spectacle, that she wants the core to be real even when the images get amplified beyond recognition. The tattoo, they say, became less about ink and more about intention, not the marking of territory, but the marking of truth. Of course, the internet is relentless. trending hashtags surged. Fans curated threads tracing their journey, from that first table read years ago to awards nights where they stood side by side, to quiet afternoons caught by long lenses, to this week's fever pitch. The clips and photos that arrived after the reveal only fed the fire. In one video, as they left a studio together, you see Barış reach for the door, step aside, and look at her with a fleeting smile as she passes. The camera dips, blurs, and yet the mood lingers, a soft veil over something deeply felt. Another still captures her touching his wrist and glancing up with an expression halfway between laughter and recognition. It spread like wildfire, shared and reshared until even casual observers had an opinion. Commentators on entertainment panels called the moment a turning point, while others insisted it was simply an intimate act shared in a very public arena. Then came the larger questions that always arrive in the wake of romantic gestures. Will it last? Is marriage a possibility? Is it a chapter or a prologue? The truth is, none of us know. What we do know is that nothing about the way they move around each other looks like a performance. They carry ease like a language they learned without realizing it, and that's why one small tattoo felt, to so many, like a declaration written in quiet capital letters. As the weekend approached, fans gathered outside familiar spots, hoping for a glimpse that might offer a clue. If the tattoo marked the start of a new openness, maybe the future would shape its own outline, slow, careful, meaningful. And with every new sighting, speculation revived, softened by a growing respect for the way they seem to be navigating the overlap of what's theirs and what's seen. The couple didn't rush to feed the narrative. They didn't deny it either. They let the image speak, and in that silence, it spoke volumes. In the end, the tattoo of Elcin's name on Barış's wrist became more than a headline. It became a symbol interpreted 1,000 ways, a promise, a risk, a memory made tactile, a secret suddenly brave enough to breathe in daylight. Perhaps it's all of these at once. Perhaps it's simply two people finding a way to say, without a press conference or a script, that the world may watch but the heart will choose its own timing. For those who've hoped, the gesture felt like permission to believe in something beautiful. For those who worried, it felt measured, deliberate, human. This is where we leave them for now, at a threshold built of ink and intention, of glances that become anchors, of nights in Sehangir where laughter echoes against old stone and mornings in Idler where a smile does more than any statement could. Maybe the next step is already in motion, quietly, carefully, just beyond the edge of what cameras can see. Maybe the most important moments will remain the ones they keep to themselves. Either way, the story continues, and we'll be here when the next page turns. Thank you for watching Secrets Behind the Stars. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe and share. Until next time, good night from us, and let the whispers keep you company until the truth is ready to be told.